coaches, parents, and players. Oh my. Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy, Dr. Coach Erwin L. Hudson, a.k.a. DrCoach. Oh, hoops, baby. Let's go! Folks, I'm back. And y'all know what time it is, right? Say it with me. Episode 4. I like that. Can y'all believe it? Already, episode 4. And somebody told me I was going to be done after episode 2. I guess the joke's on them. Because we're on episode 4, and it's full steam ahead. And guess what, folks? I'm just getting started. And like I said earlier in a previous episode, I'm starting to feel real good about this podcast thing. Therefore, I believe the sky is the limit. But even if you guys aren't feeling me right now, remember what my little brother said back in episode 1.
If I don't accomplish it, we gon' try it again. And when I do accomplish it, we gon' try it again. Yeah, perfect me, mold me. I know they can't hold me. I know that my instincts are killer like Kobe.
Remember, if we don't accomplish it, we gonna try it again. And even if we do accomplish it, we gonna try it again. So this is it, folks. I'm trying it again. So let's do it. We are in episode 4 of Coaches, Parents, and Players. Oh my. Coaches, parents, and players. Oh my. Coaches, parents, and players. Oh my. Okay, let's not waste any time. In episode 2, we introduced the coaches. In episode 3, we introduced the parents. Folks, it is now time for character 3, the players. And just like the coaches and parents, I've got to hit the players with the good, the bad, and the ugly. Again, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I seriously hope you guys don't get offended because players, you've got to own up to your part of what's going on. So remember, just sit back and listen and understand that I'm just spitting facts. And like my grandmother told me, the truth shall set you free. So let's free our minds and talk about these lazy players. Because remember, coaches suck, parents are crazy, and players are lazy. All right, here we go. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Episode 4, character 3, the players. What's a player? According to the dictionary, a player is a person taking part in a particular sport or game. Similar words are participant, contestant, competitor, contender, sportsman, athlete, or team member. Like I said in previous episodes, the players are the stars of the show. So without them, there's no game. However, they still fall under the major categories of the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay, I'm not going to go into great detail about the players like I did with the coaches and the parents. However, I am going to switch it up a little bit. Instead of going with the good, the bad, and the ugly, I'm going to do it in reverse. I'm going to show you the ugly first. Then I'm going to go to the bad. And lastly, I'm going to talk about the good. Because that's the most important. We want to find good players. Therefore, I'm going to save them for last. Saving the best for last. Similar to the worst parents out there, you have the worst players that act just like them. And those are the toxic/cancerous players. Even though this is pretty obvious, as you can imagine, these are the ones that simply kill the programs from within with their toxic and cancerous energy. Another nasty player out there that I hate to say despise, but yes, I despise, is the vindictive player. This is the player that has an axe to grind and chooses to take it out on the individual or the team, or even worse, the coach. Another pretty bad player is the jealous player. I don't talk too much about this one in my book, but I definitely have encountered quite a few jealous players out there. And the bad part about it is they don't want to see others shine. That's it. They block their own blessings and work against the team and try to kill the progress by striving for individual accolades. That's all they care about is their individual stats. They would rather score 30 and lose than actually score 10 and win, especially if someone else is shining during that moment. Okay, now we're starting to get to the borderline bad or not too good players. The first one I talk about is the entitled player. And they live up to their name by acting like a spoiled brat who thinks that everything is got to be given to them without them actually deserving it. And remember what I told you about the parents that my man Les Brown said. He says, you don't get in life what you want. You get in life what you deserve. I hope y'all heard that. I'm going to say it one more time real loud, all right? You don't get in life what you want. You get what you deserve. Hopefully the entitled players get that and understand it before we end this podcast. Next in line is the victim player. I believe that this trait is definitely inherited from their parents. Just like their parents, victim players are fixated on the thought that the world is out to get them. It doesn't matter if things are going poorly, if things are mediocre, if things are pretty well, or even if things are going great. Victims find a way of framing everything in terms of their own persecution. All right, enough about that. Let's talk about the last bad player. And just like their parents, they start out harmless. However, these players could end up playing the victim. They can become jealous. They can start acting vindictive. And what's worst of all, they can morph into a toxic/cancerous player. This player is the delusional player. This one is the one who thinks that they're going D1 and they're in the first or second grade. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to say that a child has no right to dream. Dreams are very good and very important. However, I just want their dreams to be based in reality and coincide with what you put in. Because again, like Les Brown said, you don't get in life what you want. You get what you deserve. I really hope you guys are getting that because it means so much. And it's simple little words, but the words matter. You don't get in life what you want. You get what you deserve. One of my favorite Bible quotes is in James 2nd chapter, 20th verse. And it says, faith without works is dead. And yes, I grew up in the Baptist church back in Starkville, Mississippi. Therefore, I know at least 6 or 7 things about the Bible. No, I'm just joking. I had to put that in there. I know a lot about the Bible. I owe my peace and my understanding of this life from the Bible and everything that I learned back at Joseph Creek Missionary Baptist Church in Starkville. Big shout out to the church. My family still goes there, and I sang on the choir. I was choir director. I was in the missionary group. I am very thankful to my mom, my grandmother, my aunts and uncles for taking me to church and getting me the base that I need to live and succeed in this life. So that takes me back to the quote, faith without works is dead. I want to break that down a little bit because the central idea of faith without works is dead is that genuine faith should be accompanied by corresponding actions. Simply professing faith without demonstrating it through works or deeds is considered incomplete and ineffective. In this passage, James argues that true faith naturally produces good works. They are interconnected and reflective of a sincere and living faith. So, basically, you can hope, you can believe, and you can dream all you want. But simply put, if you don't put in the work, your dreams will be dead in the water even before you start swimming. So, this concludes most of the ugly and bad players that I've encountered during my 30 years of coaching. Now, I want to be on a positive note and talk about the good ones. In order to introduce the good players that I've had the pleasure of working with over the past 30 years, let me flip the script and make a bold statement that at first glance might seem negative. However, on the contrary, it is not. I see it as a positive. In chapter 20 of my book, Take Off Your Parent-Colored Glasses, right here on Amazon, I introduce a widely used phrase. My coach has favorites. Have you guys ever heard that before? Better yet, have you ever said it before? That's the more important question. Have you ever came home and told your parents that the only reason that I don't play is because my coach has favorites? The only reason that I can't do what I want to do is because my coach has favorites. The only reason that so-and-so is doing so good is because coach likes him better than he likes me. Come on, folks, tell the truth and shame the devil, my grandmother used to say. But for real, is that one of the lame excuses that you use with your friends or people who didn't come to the game or who have never been to one of your practices? Well, if it is, I have a news flash. For the record, let me say this loud for you. All coaches have favorites. I'm going to say it again over here. All coaches have favorites. Unfortunately, and I mean, we can't help this sometimes, is that some of these favorites are not merit-based. And they're born out of nepotism, entitlement. And honestly, folks, those are the ones you really can't do much about. And I've got a solution. I talk about it in my book. And it might sound a little facetious, but consider this a potential workaround or at least a patch to this hole of a problem for this common issue. Again, don't laugh. I know you're going to think this is being funny or being, weird, but one way to get on the coach's radar in a good way is for you to actually become friends with a specific player who is a favorite of the coach or has a strong connection with the coach and be a part of that inner circle. You got to break in there somehow. I mean, this way, whatever magic sauce that they have in common with the coach will somehow rub off on you. Or at least there's a chance that you could become a pseudo coach's favorite by being in the right place at the right time. Just like the term guilt by association, you could actually become a favorite via association with other favorites. I know you think I'm being farcical, folks, but I'm telling you right now, I'm serious as a heart attack. You've got to do what you got to do because your goal is to become a favorite. And that means doing anything apart from lying, cheating, stealing, or buying your way into his or her good graces. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about how good players work their way into becoming a coach's favorite. I don't know who said this, and I couldn't find the source, but I definitely subscribe to it. Favoritism sucks, especially when you're not the favorite. Let me say it again for you. Favoritism sucks, especially when you're not the favorite. From my own personal experience, if a coach really has a favorite, or if there's a specific player that gets preferential treatment, it more than likely comes from that particular player have certain tangible attributes. And those tangible attributes include a great work ethic, athletic ability, skills, a penchant for punctuality, a respect factor for the coach and the team, a willingness to pay attention, the ability to learn, and last but certainly not least, they possess a congenial spirit. Now there you have it. Qualities of a really good player. Actually, if those qualities are enhanced, these are the qualities of great players. All right, let's start first with work ethic. One of the best ways to get on a coach's good side and become a favorite is to show that you have a serious work ethic. This doesn't mean that you work hard only when the coach is watching. That's what some people think. I showed them that I worked hard. But this means that you work hard because your goal is to get better and improve your individual game so that you can actually help the team win. So you've got to work all the time. And that's a big misconception with people who think, I've got a work ethic. The coach saw me working. But the coach wants to know if your character's right and where you can actually work without the coach watching. Athletic ability. So now this is God-given, folks. Athleticism is a basketball feature that guarantees you that the coach will pay attention. And more than likely, they'll move you up to the top of the depth chart. Athleticism helps you on offense and defense, which ultimately helps you win games. Athleticism includes speed, strength, jumping ability, and agility. Trust me, folks, some of your negative traits are overlooked with athleticism. Skills. Another must-have for getting to the top of a coach's list is being highly skilled in the sport that you're playing. If you're not blessed with an abundance of athleticism, you better have some serious skills to highlight. Coaches find it hard to ignore a player who has great skill. regarding basketball, the skills that I'm looking for are ball handling, passing, shooting, driving to the basket, finishing at the basket, rebounding, and defense. Being an expert in those skills will definitely get you noticed, and more than likely, they will ensure that you become a coach's favorite. Punctuality. This is important, folks. Being on time for meetings, practice, and games is a surefire way to get your coach to respect you and trust you. That's a big point. They want to trust you on and off the court. Oh, and just so you know, being early is considered being on time. And being on time is perceived as being late, especially if you're not already in the coach's favorite box. Respect. Coaches love respect. They love players that show respect. I believe, honestly, that's one of the reasons that humans choose to coach, to get a little respect. Because honestly, folks, coaching is a thankless job. A thankless job that requires a whole lot of time, a whole lot of energy, massive amounts of effort with very little pay. Especially if you're at the high school and AAU level. College and pros, that's differently. But right now, a normal high school coach and a normal AAU coach, you're giving up a lot of your time, energy, away from the family to work with other people's kids. So the one thing that they definitely want to get is respect. Therefore, if you give genuine respect to your coach, I guarantee you that they will return it to you tenfold. And don't get me wrong, I want you to get this twisted. Respect isn't just saying yes, sir, and yes, ma'am, and no, sir, and no, ma'am. Respect is looking your coaches dead in the eye and giving definitive answers when they ask you questions. Respect is also asking earnest questions when you really need to know something from your coach, while not being disruptive or argumentative or you're trying to debate. It's just really looking them in the eyes and saying, yes, coach, I'm sorry, I don't understand. Can you please explain it to me more? Because I want to do better. And the coach will know if you're sincere. Finally, respect is also making sure that the rest of the team knows that the coach is in charge and you are not in charge. When players show genuine respect for their coaches, it actually trickles over to the referees and the fans and the teammates and ultimately the game, because you want to make sure your coach is respected throughout. Paying attention. Folks, I've been saying this for over 25 years, since I first heard Dr. David Biscott say something similar to this when it comes to risk. But to me, paying attention is the most important thing in life. I'm going to say that again. To me, paying attention is the most important thing in life. Because, folks, I truly believe that if you can't pay attention, you can't learn. And if you can't learn, you can't grow. And if you can't grow, you can't get better. And if you can't get better, you'll never become your best. And if you've never become your best, you'll never be happy. And if you can't be happy, folks, what else is there? In fact, this is the last thing that I always tell my daughters, and they can attest to this, whenever we separate or we get off the phone, no matter what. And I don't say it as a ritual, it's just natural. After I say that I love them, I tell them to stay vigilant. In other words, I want them to pay attention to their surroundings, always. Another key characteristic that a good coach looks for in a favorite player is the ability to learn. While teams are full of athletic and skilled players, finding a highly cerebral player who can learn the plays, analyze the situations, and improve programs is what a coach really needs to make the team complete. The ability to learn raises your chances of being a valuable player. And valuable players almost always, I'd say always, become favorite players. All right, last but not least, again, you got to have a congenial spirit. It's extremely hard to not like someone who is liked by everyone. Having a congenial spirit makes everyone want to be around you, want to play with you, want to have your back, and make sure that you succeed. Congenial players are the ones that we call the glue type players. They bring the team together. They keep everyone focused on and off the court. This is how they provide value to the team. And in essence, what causes them to essentially become a favorite player of the coach. In my opinion, winning starts with chemistry. And chemistry originates with genuinely liking the people with whom you're expected to do battle with when you're in the trenches. It comes from my working with the Department of Defense. We always talk about your battle buddies and working in the trenches. So I really feel that when the going gets tough, you need players that you like around you to actually fight for you and fight with you in order for you to succeed. Okay, folks, there you have it. That was just a few examples of the characteristics that help you become one of the favorites, which ultimately makes you a good player. I truly hope that you were paying attention, folks, because it was my pleasure to bring to you my opinions of the good, the bad, and the ugly characteristics of the type of players that we see in today's game. In the next episode, folks, we're going to jump right in with guests. I'm bringing folks out. I've got some people on the line right now to want to actually talk about all of the stuff that I've already introduced. But they've got some differing opinions. I'm expecting that. I want them to really challenge me on what I've been saying and my thoughts and everything that I see when it comes to the good, the bad, and the ugly of coaches, parents, and players. Oh, my. No, I definitely want to see what they have to say, and I want you to see what they have to say, and I want to see what you have to say. I really want to get the dialogue going because, like I said earlier, people talk about coaches. They get on podcasts, and there's a show that deals with coaches. There's a show that deals with going off on parents. A lot of new athletes are talking about the detriment that parents have done to the game. And media, all the big podcasts talk about the players, and they talk about the game itself. I want to bring all three together and talk about the coaches, parents, and players, how they're intertwined and how they're going to work together to be successful. And I know we can do this, so I really appreciate you guys for hanging in there with me and actually listening to me as I introduce all this. Stay with me and grow with me as I continue to make this a podcast for you, the coaches, parents, and players. Oh, my. All right, folks, let's wrap it up. Episode 4 is now over. It's time to prepare for episode 5. I sincerely hope that you're going to hang in with me as I do my best to get this thing going. It's about to get bumpy now because I'm going to let people come in and do their thing and talk. So I'm hoping you stick with me, help me go through this, help me grow with this, and say it with me one more time before we go. Coaches, parents, and players, oh my. Coaches, parents, and players, oh my. Coaches, parents, and players, oh my. Don't forget to like, follow, and remember to always have fun and get better, because that's what life in basketball is all about. Now that's O Hoops, baby. Let's go!
Per game, got it all from Orlando Hoops. This is how I'm training. This is how I'm training.
Episode 5 is coming soon, folks. Don't forget.
This is how I'm training. This is how I'm training. No brick street training. This is how I'm training.
When talent doesn't work, hard work beats talent.
When talent doesn't work,
Hard work beats talent.
when talent doesn't work, hard work beats talent. When talent doesn't work hard,
Hey!
OrlandoHoops.com, where stars are born.
Yeah!
Yeah, meet me in the lab.
What it do, coach?